happens when you take the technology of 3D printing and designing and match it up with a love for plants? Well, you get the husband and wife duo company, Plvntly. Joining us now to discuss the journey of the small booming business are co-founders Stephanie Chen and Andrew McDivitt. Andrew, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining us here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, Olivia.
Yeah, this is super exciting. I want to get into the entire business first and how this idea came about.
So it started because during lockdown of the pandemic, I started collecting houseplants very quickly. I just started amassing a lot of houseplants, and some of them are climbing and vining houseplants, so they need some support because normally out in nature they would be climbing a tree, but in our homes we don't have that. So the stuff that was out in the market was like poles and other things that just didn't really work for me. They couldn't be extended as the plants continued to grow, or they were heavy and they would fall over. So Andrew, who likes to do 3D printing, he was like, oh, let me design something for you to try to problem solve that for you. And that is how these products came about.
Wow, I think that is so interesting because you just don't see something like this out there oftentimes. So for you, Andrew, what gave you the idea, oh, I want to use my abilities with 3D printing to help out with this task?
Yeah, I had picked up 3D printing as a hobby about 4 years prior to us starting the company, and you know, just did it as a hobby, side projects kind of thing. And Stephanie had asked me if I could make something for her that would be extendable and lighter than the current moss poles that are out there for houseplants. And so, you know, tried a couple different iterations and we found something that stuck, and that's what we have here. And
now here you guys are. Now, something super interesting our viewers probably don't know, you are a conservation biologist.
Yes.
Which I think is super cool in and of itself. How did that background for you help spark your love for plants and everything you're doing with Plvntly?
Yeah, well, so I am a conservation biologist, so I love nature. I do wildlife and plants, and so there was a natural love for green things in my home already. And when Andrew started making the poles for me, originally it was just for me at home, but we actually got so much support from the local plant community and other people saying, hey, we want this product too for our houseplants, that we were able to make a business out of it. And in order for it to be a business, though, I told Andrew that it was really important for me, if we're putting a product out there, that it needs to be environmentally friendly and sustainable. So with my background, I was like, you know, we need to make sure that the product isn't going to be harmful at all to the environment, and so we picked a filament, a plastic, which is polylactic acid filament, and so it's made from cornstarch and sugar, so a renewable resource. So it's not from petroleum-based product like plastic at all. And so over time, it can biodegrade, but after 30 years and stuff like that in the landfill versus petroleum-based plastic, which will never degrade and be on the planet forever. And then what else was important to me is that we give back to the environment since we are putting a product out there. And so for every product that we sell, we partnered with an organization called Trees for the Future, and we plant a tree for every product sold.
That's wonderful that the business is also giving back to the earth and the community. Love that. Now, you guys did bring some of these products today. Can you walk me through what you brought and kind of how it works?
Absolutely. So, like Stephanie said, for those vining and climbing houseplants, they want to attach onto something. So we have this beautiful specimen right here, which is attached.
Can you hold it up a little higher so our viewers can see? Yeah, love that.
You just need to start with something like this, which is our pole section and our stake, and this just goes right in the dirt. And you can fill this up with moss, and that will get moisture to the plant and will help it want to attach to the pole and get moisture to these aerial roots. You might be able to see them sticking out here, but they're on there.
And these are stackable, right?
Exactly, yes. So the plant's going to grow, which they love to do, and what happens when it gets too tall for the pole? Well, you get one more section, and they screw together like that.
That's so cool. It's so easy. You made it so easy for people to be able to stack it.
That was also a very important design feature that Stephanie wanted. The poles that you have to make yourself are very frustrating to put together and very time-consuming.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make something that was very easy for people who would use a product like this.
It's so incredible what you did here. I actually, if it's okay, I'd like to just fill it. Wow. This is so awesome. Now, for the two of you, now that you have established this business, what does the future hold for Plvntly?
Yeah, well, we're just going to keep making more products. Like pretty much anytime we design a product for our brand, it comes out of my own hobby. So first we started out with poles for climbing and binding plants like philodendrons and monsteras. And then recently I started kind of collecting, branching out into other kind of plants like miniature orchids and carnivorous plants. And so we continually design products that I can use in my own home for my plants to display them. Another thing was like we wanted it to be aesthetically pleasing in the home so that it can kind of match your decor. We don't want it to like, look really messy and things like that. So I think as our brand continues to grow, we just hit our 1-year anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We're just going to continue making products that myself and other houseplant owners need.
Incredible. Well, thank you both so much for joining us here on Live in the Bay. I appreciate it so much.
Thanks so much, Olivia.
To purchase for yourself, we'll have a link on our website at liveinthebay.tv.